Hi gardeners. Today we're going to talk about a problem that we have a lot in summer. We haven't talked enough about weeds. Crabgrass loves growing up on boundaries, and in this case we're not only just the boundary of our beds, but if there is a dividing line between one type of vegetable and the other, they oftentimes grow up in that boundary because you're not keeping track of that. Let's go out there and let's take a look at what's happening. I'll show you what I mean. Going to go over here to bed 8, where we have had great success with our scallop squash. Here you can see a bunch of them growing in there. That one's coming out today. He's big. Several medium-sized ones that'll be ready maybe by the weekend. So we've got a lot, oh yes, a lot of squash in there. But as you can see, we also have weeds that have taken growth. We've cleared away a lot of them here, but you can see how the squash plant has overgrown bed 7 here and is even threatening to undermine a couple of our butternut squash here. They're everywhere. They're everywhere, folksies. There's 2 more right there. So we're going to have a good harvest of squash, but we don't want bugs to interfere. And here's the problem. Our Roma tomatoes, determinate, are still trying to grow. As you can see, they're looking like end of life, and we've got a lot of beautiful ones here on the vine. It's a glorious one. We sprayed with a calcium spray to help stop blossom end rot, and that has gotten rid of 90% of our problems here. But here you see the encroachment of the squash on the tomatoes, and they're intermingled. If you look right in there, there is a tomato nestled very tightly by a very large squash just above his head. There they are in the same frame. So what are we going to do about that? Well, we have been clearing out. This is the last part of Long Street. If you look up over there, you can see how the squash has crossed Long Street. And this path here we call Easy Street, only because it's not very easy. Anyway, you can see how it's grown over both paths. This means we haven't been able to watch the growth of our weeds as well as we'd like to, so I've been digging in here and I want to show you a problem. Now this is bed 9, and this is one of the parent roots that we dug up. As you can see, it had sent a shoot up to try to get energy, but there where it turns brown, this is an older root. This could be literally from the spring. And here you see another one. We're going to dig a bit and see how deep this one goes. I'm in the full length. As you can see, it's stretching over this way because it entered from this area, and right here you can see a batch of roots that have been sending out tendrils. Well, let's go ahead and catch this guy here. This is important. I have mentioned it more than once that when you're fighting crabgrass, this is siege warfare. And there is almost 18 inches of root, and each of these nodes here is a potential new shoot. So we have taken away a lot of the plant's effectiveness by getting rid of that shoot that was approaching over here against our butternut squash. In a situation like this here, oftentimes we have a node that is very deep. I'm going to keep digging here, see if we can find that node. There it goes. I felt part of it go. Now you can see the rest of it. There's one such node where it just sends off a shower of new roots. And this is going deeper still. And there they are. We've now taken away several months worth of work, and that's going to hurt the roots that are even deeper. Remember, some roots can go down to 18 inches or more. So we just have to keep sapping the energy from them. Here's another right there. Broke it off. There it is. You can see old and brown. That's going down to the parent roots that can be up to 1.5 feet deep. Well, why don't you till? Well, remember, all the tilling is going to do is bring up dormant weed seeds up to where they can get light and moisture. We might as well just harvest weeds in that case. And you can see we have a lot of good squash. There it is, hiding in those shadows there. So we also have a lot of tomatoes to pick, because these are determinate and they come in all at once. Here we see a lot of lovely ones that are showing some good color. And right over here, I wonder if he's still up there. I found the first hornworm. And what I do is I just put them up here on this roof, and the birds just come and pluck them right off. And they say, "Ooh, thanks, bud." So we're more than happy to feed our birds with the hornworm, and it must have been 3 inches long, nice and fat. That's the first one we've seen, so they're seeking out food too. The boundary lines between crops in the same bed are often a place where weeds can get started, because you're worried about the tomatoes, you're worried about the squash, you're not worried about the boundary in between, and that can let go, and that's what's happened here. In the meantime, our dragonfly friend is on the patrol, and he plucked one literally off my skin. I didn't know that I was getting bitten, and he snagged one for me. So, thanks, buddy. Remember, folks, gardening may be a lot of work, but it sure is great when you eat the food that you grew. Thanks so much from Windblown Farm. Bye.